We are live, and it's another Wednesday. It's a Premier League Preview Show right here on City TV. We are live on Facebook. Send us your thoughts and comments. It's getting to the end of the season. About, 29 rounds we've played? And this weekend will be fascinating. There are grudge matches at Old Trafford. There are cup finals. And there are games that could leave managers wondering what exactly will be happening to their jobs come the end of the season. My name is Nathan Kwao, and you are welcome to another episode of the Premier League Preview Show. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I'll be introducing my guests. Remember that the show is live and proudly brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway, supported by Vodafone. We do our first break, and we'll return shortly. Hi, welcome back, and we are live Premier League Preview Show looking ahead to match week 29. It's a fascinating time. Benjamin Nketiah is my wingman. Welcome back.
Good to be
Last
back.
week, Fento Tahiri was there.
I forgot.
And you were trying to get better.
Yeah.
Okay,
The voice is better now. The man is better now.
The man is better now. Anyways, match week 28, not match week 29. I'm trying to steal one extra week, but let's get on with Ben. It's 10 more rounds. Can you imagine? 10 more rounds.
Blown by quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, it has.
10 more rounds.
But it's been exciting. It's been so exciting you wouldn't have figured that we've actually done 10 rounds already. But the football has been nice. The managers have brought their own thrills. The fans. I mean, I can speak about color and unexpected happenings from all angles, but that's why it's the Premier League.
And it gets really complicated. But let's start off with Liverpool. They play West Ham in our second fixture game on Saturday. That's at 3 p.m. And on paper, you look at this time and say, 3 points for Liverpool. But David Moyes has shown us that this West Ham team does have some fight in them. Of course, the last few weeks, they've wobbled a bit, but I'm sure West Ham will try and get something from this time, even though it looks almost impossible.
They will try to get something out of this, but also we must keep in mind that they will come up against a Liverpool side who are rejuvenated because unlike their other Premier League rivals and counterparts who have been involved in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup action in the past couple of days or so, Liverpool have been warm resting or warm, how do I call it? Sabbatical everywhere.
Enjoying.
I mean, just enjoying and just taking it easy, just trying to get their mojo back for the remainder of the season. So they should be well rested. They should be fresher than a horde of their opponents, and that should only spell doom for West Ham United. Basically, taking into account the fact that I don't think that West Ham are one of the teams that you fancy defensively. If you consider a side that will go out there and do a defensive job, West Ham are not one of them. And I say this because if you look at the David Moyes run ever since he took charge of the West Ham job, even in the most impressive results that they've managed to chuck, they haven't kept clean sheets. And that's a big worry for me. And Liverpool are one of those teams that will score against even the tightest of defenses. So West Ham shouldn't be a problem. It will only become a problem if West Ham decide that crossing the center line will be an abomination for them. And that's where Liverpool have struggled against such opponents. But again, Liverpool, after that thrashing of FC Porto, I think have moved on to another step of the Jurgen Klopp development cycle. You know, it always takes some sort of result, and a big result like that in Europe against one of the powerhouses, especially away from home, does your confidence a lot of good. It also does the confidence of one of their star men, Sadio Mane, a lot of good, because there were reports that he was beginning to get envious of all the attention that Mohamed Salah was getting, and it was beginning to affect his play on the pitch.
I don't know if you believe that. I thought it was nonsense.
I cannot necessarily say it was nonsense. I mean, I don't expect Mane to come out to confirm, but his football on the pitch did speak to that sense, where there were instances that he could have gone for the better pass, but instead chose to go for glory himself. And I feel that now that that has been taken out of the way, he will be able to play with a clearer head, deliver the goods for the team.
You spoke about West Ham and the ability, not to keep clean sheets. You mentioned that, I mean, for a team that's trying to fight off relegation, that's not a good thing. Yeah. But on the flip side, does it not show that they are playing with fear and confidence and they don't care what goes on, on their side of the pitch when teams are trying to score?
I legit don't think that West Ham have what it takes to play solid, full-out defense and say, go on a defensive run of 3 clean sheets in 3 different matches. I don't think that they built themselves up to that level. Cresswell, Ogbonna, look at Collins sometimes. They are just not the kind of defensive or the back line that impressed me a lot. And for Liverpool, if the kind of season Mohamed Salah is having is anything to go by, there will be no defense in this league that's capable of stopping him when he's in the mood. And what you need to know is that Liverpool will get one clear-cut opportunity in every game at least, and they will have to put those chances away. And in a match against West Ham, I fancy them to get not 1, not 2, not 3, but a whole lot of chances. So West Ham will have to go out there and prove me wrong. I mean, a season or 2 ago, I would have stuck my neck out for somebody like Aaron Cresswell and said he was a top 5 left back in the Premier League. He's falling off those lofty standards. So a player like him will definitely have to get back to his A game if they will really do anything serious in this game. But I mean, it's one of those matches. There will have to be something terribly wrong for Liverpool to have to lose to this West Ham team. Other than that, I expect a huge result for Liverpool, possibly a 4-5-1 sort of result. We'll
see how that one goes. David Moyes, former Everton boss, going back to play against Liverpool. So you can imagine the kind of hostile reception he will get there. But we'll see what West Ham have got to say. Javi Hernandez, Marco Arnautovic beginning to lead the line. And it's a very strange combination, big and little. You don't have that in football. But these two gentlemen maybe could lead West Ham to a good place at the end of the season. There's Watford versus Everton. And that game will be quite interesting. A game of equals. Ben, just quick thoughts on that one. That should be good. Watford at home. They've had a crazy home form. They beat Chelsea the other round. Now they've got to play Everton, who under Mr. Allardyce will urge them to be a bit more solid, a bit more conservative as they travel.
I mean, these are matches where players of both teams would enjoy, because they are teams of equal strength, teams that both have not really defined an identity for themselves so far this season. Everton seem to still be going through the settling down process, where guys like Theo Walcott are still trying to weave themselves into the Everton chemistry. So it should be fine for them. If I look at Watford, they look good going forward, but they are terrible as a defensive unit.
Absolutely crazy.
I look at what they do defensively, still trying to play with the wing backs as things stand now. 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs. It's a system that always leaves you vastly exposed if you don't know how to execute properly and you don't have hard-working hard-working wing backs. I'm not saying that Daryl Janmaat is a bad player, but he's just not as good a defender as he is an offensive threat. So they will have to take care of that. But generally speaking, it's that sort of game that I expect to be open-ended, end-to-end action. I expect to see a lot of goals as well. Theo Walcott should do Fantasy League good as well, because
we urge people to have
look, he's that kind of guy. If he gets one goal after one game and he gets into another match where the defenders are not,
he's a rhythm kind of player,
world class, he gets
that
into
kind
a
of,
rhythm,
that kind of
and it
player.
could spell doom for any team. So all in all, will I say Everton will win or Watford will win? I think it's a game that could end in a score draw.
We'll see. That's a fascinating one. There's some other that's travelling to take on the people at Everton. Garcia, we'll say Javi Garcia leading the line there. But let's come to Sunday, and Sunday, then that's when the juice is. It's Palace and Spurs starting us off at midday. That game was originally slated for a Monday night, but it's been pulled back and it will be played on Sunday at midday. That's a very interesting. It looks very, very fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating in the sense that I still don't trust Tottenham Hotspur, regardless of that impressive 2-2 comeback draw against Juventus in the Champions League. Regardless of what they've done in the league, I just still cannot vouch for them as a team that can surely go out there and win against all odds.
Of course, and they do have quality. Wilfred Zaha, it may be too soon for him to return from injury, though.
Yes, and exactly. They struggled in the round before that as well. That had to go to a replay again. So, like I'm saying, Tottenham's form has not necessarily been that type of form that will blow any team out of the water. And Crystal Palace, like we've seen, did not seem too fazed by Manchester City. And if a team can go ahead and handle the offensive power of Manchester City, you just get the sense that they are a little, or they will be even more welcoming to the prospect of welcoming Tottenham, who I think can be a one-trick pony sometimes. It's a hurricane route through Christian Eriksen. If it doesn't work, the team just finds it hard to create anything.
For Palace, how do they deal with Zaha's absence? Should he not be available on Sunday?
Well, I think the guys like Andros Townsend will obviously look to step up. And the game plan is simple. Look to keep it tight at the back, and then look to quickly counter up the field. Aerial threats up front, target men up front, hold up the play, and bring in the other wing players. The good thing about Crystal Palace's setup is that they do not expect too much from themselves. They don't expect to go into this game as overwhelming favorites. So it's always nice to come into a match like this with a tag of the underdog. It helps you to be able to express yourself a little more freely. And Tottenham will be thinking about the recent bad results that they've chucked in recent times, how to possibly slump out of it. They will be looking to use Crystal Palace as a stepping stone to move on to the next level. I don't think that Palace will be looking to be used as a scapegoat in this one. So they will have everything to play for, plus the fact that they themselves as a team are not out of the woods when it comes to getting out of the relegation places. It's a game that has huge motivation for both teams. More for Crystal Palace, though, than I think for Tottenham. And I think that could be the undoing of Spurs.
We'll say that game kicks off at midday. And right after that, Ben, the biggest game of the round is Jose Mourinho versus Antonio Conte, part 2. Now, Conte won the first leg by 1 goal. And then I think we were at AM and PM for that roadshow. Great game it was from a Chelsea perspective. It wasn't too good for Man United that day. Last season at Old Trafford, Mourinho brought out the masterclass when he put Ander Herrera on Eden Hazard. And this Sunday, they do it again at Old Trafford. How important is this game? It's Man United and Chelsea, but beneath the names, who should value this game more?
I think Chelsea have more to lose. I mean, look, at this point, their empire is crumbling, and they are the defending champions. We should not forget that. So they have a duty to themselves, first of all, to finish in a respectable position in the season. And Antonio Conte, especially after his war of words with Jose Mourinho, will want to get one over him, because Mourinho has a thing for throwing all kinds of shade and all kinds of jabs about who's won more trophies and who has been in the seats longer, who has a more prestigious career. So Conte will definitely want to go ahead and get one over them. And I mean, that result against Barcelona should only do their confidence any good if they have the right mentality as a team. I don't think that they need to be kicking themselves for that 1-1 result. Yes, it was a game that got away, but it was a game that should motivate them to go out there and do even better. Also coupled with the fact that United don't look to me like a team that have figured out what exactly they are doing with their setup. They seem to be tinkering a lot with their squad, especially after the signing of Alexis Sanchez. One time he's on the left, the next time he's been asked to play a free role, the next time he looks like he's trying to impress his manager or trying to impress even himself. So there's a lot to figure out for United as a team. And I get the sense that they are going to be doing a lot more of that uncertain stuff when they play against Chelsea. Chelsea, on the other hand, seem to me like a wounded squad who have everything to play for. They want to defy the odds of having a terrible season on the back of what everybody else is saying. Like, oh, the manager is possibly going to get fired. The players are in danger of finishing outside the top 4. They're just a very wounded team at this moment. Okay. I think it's a very dangerous time for United to be playing Chelsea. And they've shown already at the start of the season that even when there was little to play for, they had what it took to take down Manchester United. Now, it's a confused Manchester United. I expect them to be catered for.
Tonight, United face Sevilla, and just like you mentioned, whatever happens tonight in that Champions League game will clearly have a consequence on Sunday.
Definitely will. And United will be sure, again, to go into this with a clear game plan. That's what it is.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Should Jose Mourinho reprise the trick from last season and get somebody on Eden Hazard?
Well, the truth of the matter is that Chelsea now have more danger men who feel confident aside Eden Hazard. If you're watching Chelsea versus Barcelona, you know that Willian is in his element. And to be very honest, I think that Willian is possibly one of the most underrated footballers out there. I mean, regardless of how well he's done as a player, there was a point last season where he went on an absolute fantastic run where he scored about 7 balls from dead ball situations. In fact, in
Mourinho's last season, he was player of the year.
Exactly. And in my history of watching football, I don't even think that guys like Pirlo, Ronaldinho or Juninho have had such a splendid run of hitting from the dead ball situation. But he still does not seem to acquire that sort of respect or fear.
Why do you think it's so?
I think he lacks superstar ego as a player. He doesn't seem to care too much about what he does. He's a business-like type of player. He just goes out there and takes care of business. He doesn't care if reporters are talking about him. He doesn't care if people are being overly critical about his performance. He just cares about putting in a show and just leaving the pitch. And he doesn't know a small game. Every game is an equal game of importance to him.
I'm sorry, especially knowing that his status at Chelsea is not really guaranteed. So he would want to play every minute. Just finally on this one before we do the predictions later. For the two managers, what should they think about as they put their teams together for the tie on Sunday? Let's start with Jose Mourinho. What do you think should be a best, for example, how should he shape up in midfield and in attack to give his team a good chance?
Mourinho should shape up to give Pogba the best chance to unleash his talents. Because look, I have been frustrated watching the player purchase for so much money, yet being caged so much, and I've just watched him practically struggle on the pitch because he doesn't seem to have the freedom to be able to do what he wants to do as a player. I want Mourinho to set up his team in a manner that will liberate Paul Pogba. Win or lose, fail or succeed, let's just know what Pogba looks like in a liberated situation.
Okay.
Figure out what you want to do.
So you can better judge what the problem is.
Exactly my point. Figure out what you want to do with Alexis Sanchez. If you want to stick him out on the left-hand side, do just that. If you want to play him as a number 9, do that. If you think he's suited to play on the right wing, do that as well. And let's all have some clarity going forward with regards to what United are doing with their setup, because as of now, it looks to me like a team with a lot of fancy players and quality players who don't know what they're
coordination doing. For Chelsea, what's the perfect setup? We saw them play without a recognized striker against Barcelona. Should they try that again on Sunday?
Yes, they should, especially since United have announced all season that they are a team that want to be dominated. That's what Chelsea should go out
there and dominate.
Go out there, get a feisty start to the game, get Eden Hazard and Willian all over the United defense, get balls into the box, possibly look for an early goal, rattle them, and then from there, grab the game from the scruff of the neck.
See, and Chelsea will have Morata and Olivier Giroud in reserve to throw at United if things should go wrong. United may have Marcus Rashford back. I've seen pictures of him training ahead of tonight's Champions League tie against Sevilla. Ben, let's talk about the other big game, and it's the League Cup final. Pep Guardiola's first crack at winning some silverware in England. During the week, he suffered a painful, some say embarrassing, exit out of the FA Cup by Wigan, unfancied Wigan. 5 years after doing a number on them, they appeared to do a number again. Is Arsenal they are facing? Some Arsenal fans have spoken to are concerned that City will come out and try to hand out retribution on Sunday, but this should be a good one.
Arsenal love cup ties, especially in seasons.
They've won some of the most unlikely ones, like
Very,
last season when
very,
they trumped Chelsea to the FA Cup.
Exactly what I'm saying. They love cup ties, and now it's a season where their journey to Europe and everywhere else is a lot more complicated. You have brought in quality players. Now fans want to see those players reflect their quality on the pitch. I mean, it's okay if you get nice players who have big names who will boost shirt sales, but they need to boost the team's prospects on the pitch. And I feel that they've given themselves every chance of winning this game by the signings they've made. And I know that those signings will definitely be making an appearance against Manchester City. Now, they were hoping for a quadruple. It didn't work. But the ineptness of that particular display should give you a sense of what they should be correcting going into this game. Close to 15 corners, and there was nothing to show for it. 25 shots at goal as well. So
you think that they need to start thinking about some of those things and start making use of them?
They do.
So what does it mean? Get a 6-foot-plus striker or throw Otamendi in there? I mean,
well, if you're playing against a team like Arsenal, it just complicates your task a lot more as Manchester City because the game styles are very similar. And I do believe that Arsenal have, at this point, a more focal point of attack than Manchester City. Sergio Aguero might be coming in great form, but I don't know. I really have not trusted his consistency over the years. He's that kind of guy who could score a hat-trick one weekend and ghost for 4 or 5 more weeks before he shows up again. So in a cup game of this nature, they need him to step up. And I do hear a lot about Romelu Lukaku's first start getting a lot of trash. I think Sergio Aguero's first start is trash. I think that people...
Wow!
Yes, you should. And I have seen videos. Look, if you haven't taken notice, you should go back and have a look. This guy traps a ball and the ball rolls
but
over
you have to
about
admit
2-3
that at the most
yards away from him
critical
all the
time, he knows exactly what to do to score. So...
Not for me this season. I think that he scored a lot of goals in absentia, a lot of goals that have really not meant anything. And you will look at his goal numbers on the goal scorers chart, and what I'm saying might look ridiculous, but exactly, he scored goals against teams that really Manchester City should be beaten. When they've needed him to step up in big matches, he's been nowhere to be found. It's always been the little guys, Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne. They've always been the guys to step up for him. So for me.
So City's success will rely on players like Leroy Sané.
Exactly my point. They will have more to contribute to this tie than Sergio Aguero, even if it's creating for him to score. On the other hand, he is a proven goal scorer, so his reputation does precede.
What about Arsenal? Now, you've seen Mesut Ozil's horrible tendencies of not playing well in the most important games. And Sunday, no matter what we do, he is going to get a start. There's no Henrik Mkhitaryan. Alexandre Lacazette is drifting between starting and sitting on the bench. I'm not too sure if it looks like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang might play, but for us now, where do they win this game? How do they win this cup final?
It will definitely have to be with the fullbacks, because as much as Manchester City have tried to convince everybody that Fabian Delph is a left back, I still don't believe in that particular system. I still believe that Kyle Walker is still a vulnerable point for them, even though
he was the one at fault for Wigan's goal.
Again, in contradiction of myself, he's one of their best players this season for me on Sang, but his better part has always come going up the field. And it's because Manchester City exactly don't get tested by opposing teams on the defensive side. So for Arsenal, they will run a lot of interchangeable plays on the wings. They will look to exploit the wings. And shockingly, one of Arsenal's best players this season has been Nacho Monreal. And it's crazy because he links up play well, he goes forward well, he's even had an eye for goal. He's having one of his best scoring seasons so far, so he will pop in as an unexpected threat, especially when the short passing game is not going well. An early crosser, he could get in a 30-yard cross, and we know Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, his pace is nightmarish for any team. One ball played into the back of any unsuspecting defense, and that could wreak havoc for them. But on an overall scale, this is the sort of game I think Arsenal will be winning. I think that Manchester City will still be rattled by that exit to Wigan Athletic. They will try...
But could it not just fire them up to go finish Arsenal or first half, score 3 and that's it?
They won't score 3 against Arsenal in the first half, trust me.
They scored 3 against Arsenal once already.
But it won't happen in the first half. and mind you, this is an Arsenal team that's vastly changed just over the January transfer.
That's true.
It's not the same team. It might not be a lot of changes in the back, but sometimes all a team needs is a change in mentality, and these guys have brought the refreshingness in the locker room that Arsenal needed. They just need to go out there, stick to their game plan, because cup ties are more their thing than the Manchester City thing. I think they should be able to navigate.
We'll see. So this Sunday we are at Bosphorus in Laboni. If you don't know where to be, join us. We go live from about midday. There's Palace and Spurs, and then Man United and Chelsea, and then Man City and Arsenal in the League Cup final. All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll go through your comments. Lots of them coming in from all over the world, and then I'll be throwing the games at Ben. He'll be giving me the precise predictions. Half the time he gets them right. The other half I win, and he doesn't. Anyway, you're still watching the Premier League Preview Show. We're back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Remember, the show is brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway, supported by Vodafone. We'll do a quick turnaround where we come back, comments, predictions, and then we round up.
They'll go with a 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead.
An early goal will settle the nerves.
The away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home sides kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
The star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Namaste.
Hell's down heaven now, living in the same town, trying to find something new. This ain't right, it's no good, no good.
Hello, I'm home. Hello.
I've been here for too long, going through the same things.
We unite. We defy. We hope. We dream. We play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
Hi, welcome back. We're on the final leg of the Premier League Preview Show. Let me go through the comments. So many comments. Andrew Kwesi Anani says sharp. Atua Hinsaboatin says fantastic. Bernard Nelson Kofi says that's more like it. So I take all these are approvals. Thank you very much. Atua Hinsaboatin returns and says Liverpool should win because Chelsea will draw with United. Okay. Manasseh Ni Ashite Ama says United will beat Chelsea by 2 goes to 0. Sky Dawn is asking when we'll meet Rahman. When Rahman comes back from school. He's out there hustling, grinding in the cold. Boatin and Sema Ben, our friend is back. He's watching us from Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's back. He says it is 8:25 in Vietnam. Hey, wow, Charlie.
The other side of the world.
The other side. Nana Sante is asking where Fento is. Fento is around somewhere. He'll join us one of these days. Nuhu said he's watching us live from Binduri. Khaled Wood says it's going to be difficult, but if Mane, Salah, and Firmino up, Liverpool to win by 3-goal margin. Dominic Kwekwaboaje says Tottenham are just good at stopping big teams. It's like what we are seeing in the Champions League. They should forget about the Premiership in the next 4 years. Interesting. Dominic pretends and says United, Man United v Chelsea is a big game for Chelsea, not for United. United will lose if Sanchez plays on the left. Interesting. Opari Benjamin says it will end goalless between United and Chelsea. Kwame Sammy Berg says, I don't think United can have a convincing win because Jose's last round of 16 games, 9 of them he's talking about the Champions League and all of that. Interesting. Jonas Lord Mayor Kwada says, United 3, Chelsea 0. And Jessinino Da Vinci says, United to beat Chelsea, Arsenal to win on Sunday. All right, Ben, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. When I give you the game, you tell me the prediction. Let's start off. Leicester City versus Stoke, Saturday 12:30.
2-0 Leicester City.
Okay, Liverpool West Ham.
3-0 Liverpool.
Watford Everton.
2-2.
Okay, Palace Spurs.
1-0 Palace.
Okay, United Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
Okay, Man City Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
2-1 Arsenal.
You're probably thinking about all of City's goal scoring.
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. You can send us your thoughts. But catch us Sunday live at Bosphorus in Laboniben. That should be fun.
Yep, the first time was fun. I think this will even be better. Look, I saw pictures from the first road show. I couldn't believe that was Bosphorus. I couldn't believe it was Ghana even.
Guys, join us out there. We are Bosphorus on Sunday from 12 till about 7 in the evening. 3 games, Palace, Spurs, Man United, Chelsea. That's the big one. Then the biggest game on Sunday, arguably, is a League Cup final between Manchester City and Arsenal. That game starts at 4:30. If there are extra time and penalties, you never know how long we're going to spend it. That should be fun, Ben. Thank you very much. I'll catch you next week. And we'll catch you again next week. It's been the Premier League Preview Show ahead of Match Week 28. My name is Nathan Kasho. Was brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway, supported by Vodafone. Let's keep the conversation going. Catch you on Sunday at Bosphorus and join the coverage live on City 97.3 FM from Saturday at 12. We'll catch you next week. Do enjoy the rest of your day and week. Take care and bye-bye.